All right, boys and girls, we are getting started with week 4, day 1 in shared reading. If you were to come over here into your ELA class journal, you know you're in ELA because over here says it, journal, you can see everything that's been going on in order. This is an outline of what it needs to be done for the week, and this is the specific details. Each of these underlined links will take you directly to where you need to go. Our day 1, I'm doing our model right now, so the link will be available. Our exit tickets for this week are going to look a little bit different. They are multiple choice and as well as some written responses. Please make sure you are reading the directions before submitting. Over here you will see our text, you will see your social studies PowerPoint that you should be working on, and you can see our other shared reading text. So just to open it, you would click and it will come up. So here we go. Our text is titled Lunch Money. If you need to change the zoom, you can come up here to your magnifying glass. You can also, on your school device, since it is touchscreen, you can pinch or pull it just like you would on a phone. I'm setting it here to scroll. So Andrew Clements is the author. He writes lots of books that are popular for 5th graders. They are 5th grade level and 5th grade content. One book that you all have from our last week of school together was Frindle. So Frindle is written by the same author. This book, Lunch Money, is an excerpt from one of his chapter books. So our story today, we're going to read 484, 485, and 486. I'm going to model here on page 484. I'm noticing, now, this is one of my favorite books for the whole year, Lunch Money. We here, most of us at Kimball, we don't pay for our lunches. We have free or reduced lunch, but where our character goes to school, he pays for his lunch. So here I see quarters because I see George Washington. So I see $1, $2, $3, $4, $1, $2, $3, $4, $2, and it looks like $2.25. I'm wondering if that's going to be important for my story. Standing in the cafeteria line, Greg opened his red plastic pencil case. He counted once, and then he counted again, just to be sure. Then he grinned. There were 13 left. I wonder, 13 quarters maybe? That's a lot of quarters. That's a lot of money for lunch money. Sweet! That means I sold 17 units. That's what Greg called the comic books he was selling. Units. And selling 17 units before lunch was a new sales record. Greg's comic books weren't the kind for sale at stores. Regular comic books were sort of tall, also a little floppy. Not Greg's. Greg's comic books were all about the size of a credit card, and they could stand up on one end all by themselves. They were only 16 pages long, and he could fit about 50 of them in his pencil case. These comic books were short and sturdy, and that's why they were called chunky comics. Okay, so Greg, I'm assuming this is Greg, because why else would there be this boy here? He sells comic books. I'm assuming, oh, that right here is going to be maybe one of his comic books, but they described the comic book as being as tall as a credit card. I know I can fit a credit card in the palm of my hand. A credit card is very small. Our title is Lunch Money, and Greg is selling comic books. I'm wondering if he is selling them so that way he can have food to eat. Greg loved that name. He had chosen it himself. He got to pick the name because he was the author of all the Chunky comics. All of the Chunky comic stories. He had drawn all the pictures too, and he was also the designer, the printer, and the binder. Plus, he was the marketing manager, the advertising director, and the entire sales force. Chunky Comics was a one-kid operation, and that one kid was Greg Kenton. Wow, he sounds very busy. Greg snapped the pencil case shut and grabbed a tray. He took a grilled cheese sandwich and a cup of carrot sticks and then looked over at the fruit cocktail bowls until he found one with 3 chunks of cherry. He got a chocolate milk from the cooler and he walked towards his seat. Greg did some mental math. Monday, the first day Chunky Comics had gone on sale, he had sold 12 units. Tuesday, 15 units. Wednesday, 18 units. And today, Thursday, he had already sold 17 units before lunch. So that was 62 units since Monday morning. And each little book sold for 25 cents. So the up to the minute sales total for September 12th was $15.50. Ooh, so that tells me why the author and the illustrator chose to put quarters up here at the top. Each comic book is sold for 25 cents. So these are representing comic books. Wonder what Greg's going to do with that money. So what you're going to do now is you are going to read page 485 and 486, and then you're going to come back into Edsby, and you are going to answer the exit ticket for day 1. So you'll come into Edsby, you can go into your ELA class, and you are going to click here, day 1, and answer the exit ticket.